Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the call for tonight. And it's good to see you all here. We are on the PLR show for the week of uh, May 17th. And we're going to take your questions, of course, about PLR and anything else that you'd want to talk about in terms of using your PLR and your content. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them right there in the box, and I'll be happy to start to answer them. So once again, it's good to see you all here. Feel free to anything that you're trying to do with your with your business and you're using PLR. Just go right ahead and just leave it right there in the box. I do have a few things we're going to be covering here tonight. Barring that you don't have questions. So first of all, I guess I should have said this. If you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box. So if you can hear me, just let me know that by putting a Y in the question box. And when that's the case, then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, thank you, Julie. Okay, excellent, very good. Okay, well, I'm going to start. And if you have questions, then you just feel free to write them there in the box. Your questions take precedent over what we're covering. So if you can think of it, just go ahead and write it right there in the box. And let's go ahead and just start our presentation here. Okay, so this is we're going to be talking about here today. I'm not sure where that's coming from. In Spanish, no less. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to be talking about traffic from collaborative content here today. It's actually going to be part of a PLR program that we're going to be releasing this weekend. One of the things I want to mention to you is that for all of our new promotions, if you didn't hear in our email, one of the things that is we're going to be talking about, anything that we're going to be promoting in terms of affiliate stuff. You'll be able to find out about it in advance over at superfastactionbonus.com. If you check over there, you'll find out what our bonus is going to be, typically about a day before the promotion. I think there's something coming out in 2 days that we're going to be standing behind. If you want to find out about that, you go over there tomorrow at superfastactionbonus.com. At superfastactionbonus.com. That is where we will talk about all of our affiliate promotions. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about connecting with your shortlist. And when I talk about your shortlist, you may have been on a webinar we talked about before where we have talked about the fact that one of the things that you need to do when you are starting out in a niche, if you don't know anybody, right, and you are trying to start to build a following, you're trying to build a community, you're trying to build a tribe, whatever they call it, you're trying to get people to your site, and you're trying to leverage, right? You're trying to leverage some of the traffic that you're going to be able to get from other people. And so one of the things you're going to start thinking about is, who do I need to connect with? Now, we do go over that in the course about how you decide on that. This is actually one of the modules in the course, and I'm going to talk about how you're going to connect with the people that are going to help you to get the traffic. So let's start talking about that here in this video, in this part of the course. Not this video, because we're not actually in the course. Okay, so what is the short list? The short list is going to be bloggers. So in other words, if you know that there are bloggers in your niche, and even if we're talking about the internet marketing niche, if you have people and you know that they are regular bloggers and they write and people listen to them, then you are going to want to put them on your short list. And these are going to be some of the people that you want to be able to reach out to about your product. Now, what I'm going to say about that here in a minute is that you don't want to start the day that your product is getting ready to be released or the day before. The time to start reaching out to bloggers is now, before you actually start, before you even start to finish what it is you're going to be releasing. You want to start connecting with the bloggers in the niche now. You should also be connecting with podcasters. So if you know people that podcast, you want to start talking to them. You want to find out who their audience is. You want to start finding out what they're doing for content. Now, I can tell you from having done content on a regular basis that any time that you can actually reach out and provide value, a podcaster or a blogger is going to be willing to at least take a look at having you on their program or having you on their blog. So just make sure that when you start thinking about who it is you're going to want to talk to, and again, this really does not make a difference as to what niche it is. Please do not think that this only works in the internet marketing niche, but because it works in all niches, right? So start thinking about your bloggers, the podcasters in your niche. Okay, now I'm going to go one step farther and say you want to go beyond, the internet. Right? You want to go beyond the internet so that you know it is important that you also know who are the reporters in your niche on local and national news. And please do not think that anyone is too big, right? So don't start thinking, well, you know what, they work for, they write for this newspaper, they write for this. You don't know what they're going to be looking for and when they need content. So part of your short list should be reaching out to reporters in the local and national news who write about things in your niche. And again, I don't care who they are or how big they are. Get on their radar. Find out who they are. Make them a normal part of your reaching out, because when you really have something and you have something that's going to intersect with their interest, they are going to be willing to feature you, right? Reporters at the local and national level. The same is going to be true for magazines. What are the magazines about in your niche? If you don't know what those magazines are, you don't know what they write about, get familiar with them. Typically, you can go and find out what those magazines are. You can get them sometimes for as little as $5 a month, right? Or $5 a year. You can get subscriptions for them, and you can typically get them from Amazon really cheap. And I would suggest that you find out what the magazines are in your niche, and then find out how you can get in them. Find out what they're looking for. Find out what their content is. And again, don't think that you're too small or that you don't have enough gravitas to get onto their magazine. Right? When you have something that intersects with their interests, they will have you. Now, the short list should also include professors. Now, you might say, now, Charles, this is really kind of getting out there a little bit. Again, when you start thinking about the kind of person that's going to bring with them traffic, and again, we're talking about this method and people that you're actually going to be collaborating with them on creating content, they're going to bring a segment of their audience with them. And professors are always looking for opportunities to be seen. You can always find a professor that, again, they're going to want to be out there so that their book gets to be seen, so that their ideas get to be seen, so that the things that they're talking about become as popular as some of the more. I want you to think about this. I believe that Malcolm Gladwell, and I talked about this in an email, that one of the people that I think was probably not as popular as Malcolm Gladwell was K. Anders Ericsson. Right? And Malcolm Gladwell was the person that really made his ideas stand out and popularize about 10,000 hours. Right? So you don't know who it is that you're going to be able to connect with that will popularize an idea. So professors, anyone who has a list that they email to, anyone in your niche that has a list that they email to, you want to be able to reach out to them to find out what kind of content they send out. What kind of content do they need? Do they do interviews? Will they have interviews? You want to find out and reach out to the list holder and find out what their content needs are and what their promotion needs are. Again, you are collaborating with them because you are going to give them something and they're going to give you something. You want to give them more exposure, and hopefully they're going to give you more exposure. Right? Whenever you have someone who has a list and they bring themselves over to your event or your collaborative content or your summit or your interview show or whatever it is that you're doing, the chances of you being able to attract some of their followers is pretty high. Right? Now, there are ways to do that. We talk about that in the course. Now, product creators, information product creators, whether or not they're creating it on Udemy on JVZoo, on Warrior Plus, on Udacity, on Teachable, on Teachery, whatever it is that they're creating a course on, they are potentially good people for you to either have on your show or for you to have at a summit, right? Product creators, event holders. So people who actually throw events, whether they are live, offline, or online. Because again, they have control of and they have access to and they have influence with people that, again, you can attract their influence crowd by bringing them onto your show, onto your program, or onto your summit. Sponsors. Now, this is very important because a lot of the time what you're going to have to do and you're going to need to be able to do is you're going to need to be able to advertise for the event that you're going to have these people as part of. And so sponsors are a great way of being able to not only pay for some of that, right, but also to be able to get people that, again, they want access to a list, right? And by partnering with sponsors and people who are willing to sponsor, you are bringing them in contact with their target audience. And sometimes what they're doing is providing you with cash flow because you can use that cash flow for advertising. Is everybody with me so far? So if you understand what I've said so far, please put the number 1 in the question box. Number 1 in the question box if you understand what I'm talking about. Again, we're talking about connecting with the people who are going to be in your short list. Influencers, right? Influencers. What do I mean by influencer? And I realize that this is a popular term now, but what you must realize is that influencers go beyond the internet, right? So it isn't just somebody who has a blog. It's somebody who has access to other people. Right. So if someone has access to other people and they don't fall in these categories and they have the ability to influence opinion in your niche, right, you want to be able to have them, right? Reaching out to influencers. Okay, so what you're basically doing is you are collaborating and you are connecting with them. And the easiest way that you want to do. Now, here's something that you and I must always be working on, right? We must always be working on. We have a product coming out about your reputation because reputation management is not just for businesses, right? One of the things that you're going to need to do is you need to be Googleable, right? You need to be Googleable. What do I mean by that? I mean then that if you're talking about your niche and you're reaching out to these people because they're going to be in your niche, you are going to want to be the kind of person that when they see your name, they understand that it would be in their best interest to work with you because of what you already have available. Because the first thing they're going to do, not having known you or seen you, is to Google you, right? And so you need to be relevant in your niche in Google. Now, I'm not talking about ranking. I'm not talking about having all the stuff on there. I'm talking about having enough stuff on the internet shared and in place so that when I go to take a look at you, I can find out what you're about. And listen carefully, I should be able to find out, and it should be obvious that you are. I'm not saying that you have to be the expert. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm saying you need to be prolific in the niche. Now, Stephen asked the question, what does it mean to reach out? Does that mean email? Great question. Now, in most cases, you're probably going to be reaching out by email. However, here's what I'll say about this. Everybody and their mother reaches out to these people by email, right? They all do. And so what you've got to do is you're going to have to come with something a little bit different, right? I suggest a couple of things. Number one, if you can find in the autoresponder email an address, right, I would recommend sending a letter. Now, I recognize if you live here in the United States, that's going to cost you 50 cents when an email is free. But listen, if you're talking about connecting with your short list, what we're doing is we are going all out. Right, this is going to be your short list is going to be the people that you can actually reach and they're going to bring you traffic. And if writing a letter, right, for 50 cents and taking 20 minutes out of your day to write one to the people, right, will actually bring you traffic, then it's going to be worth doing. Right, so when I say reach out, I'm going to suggest that in some cases, if you can find an address, write it. And the reason is, and again, I've done this my entire life, folks. I've done this my entire life. And most of the time I do it when I know, if I know that 10 people are going to be reaching out to this person, I know my email is going to get lost. It's going to be one of many. But if I can send a letter that said, hey, you know what? I sent you an email and here's what that email is about. And they're getting a physical letter from me, then they know I'm serious. I know they've heard from me. Now I could take that one step further, and one of the things I can suggest, I don't know if it's in this, this particular slide or not. I know I do cover it in the course. Is that you know, when possible, right? When possible, you can and you should have a book that you can recommend to them. Now, I think that there's a way these days in Amazon that you can actually gift a book to somebody, right? Because you're not gifting this book to somebody in order for them to get a review. You're gifting a book to somebody so it can give you influence, right? If you can gift a book to somebody, you want to be able to do that. Again, the most important thing is that you stand out for some reason from all of the other people contacting this individual. So number one, make sure you're Googleable. So Stephen, does that help? Okay, so let me see. Let me kind of go back to your question a little bit. So what would I do? Okay, so one of the things, definitely email, definitely reaching out by letter. If I'm really serious, I'm going to include something with that letter. Don't neglect contacting a publicist, right? Don't neglect contacting a publicist. One of the easiest ways to get in touch with people is to contact their publicist. And when you contact their publicist, you want to make it look and sound like you're a big deal, right? Now, I'm not talking about pretending to be somebody that you are, but I am talking about putting your best foot forward professionally. So when you write the publicist, you want to make sure you've got a PDF that says what it is you want. That PDF should have your logo on it. That logo, right, or that PDF should have a clickable link to your website. Your website should be professional. When they get to your website, it should be obvious what you're about. So what I'm saying to you is that a lot of the background stuff that you can take care of doesn't have to take you long, but there are ways that when you reach out to people, when they actually begin to check you out, you raise the opportunity and the possibility of them saying yes to you, whatever your request is. Okay, now, let's see, what do I do here? Okay. Okay. When you reach out to them, and again, this is something that I do go over in the course. I have a form letter that I use. You want to find a way to interview and give them exposure. That's what your request is going to be. You are going to be the person that is going to help them and give them exposure, right? Yeah, exactly, Stephen. You want to make sure that when you contact somebody, right, it's it's individual. Because they're going to get emails from everybody. And most of those emails are going to be unprofessional. You'll set yourself apart just by being professional in the email, right? I've heard people say, right, wow, that was a very well-written email. And it wasn't anything special. And I'm not saying that because I'm saying that to brag. I'm saying it because I do take time to do that. And so when you actually sit down and write an email to an influencer, right, to somebody who could potentially bring traffic with them, you want to make sure that you make that opportunity count. Okay, now, so connecting with your short list, when you contact them, make sure you find a way to interview with them, and your pitch to them is going to be you want to give them exposure, right? And when they go to Google you, it needs to be obvious that they can get that exposure, right? Okay, now, when you never finish this list, right? So don't look at this list as a list that you're going to get through. This is what we do as information marketers, right? When somebody falls off the list, or you got them, or you cross somebody else off, you add somebody else on. This list never gets full. It never ends, right? We continue to reach out to people who can bring people with them. We continue to reach out to people who, when we mention their name, people are going to come and check them out. We continue to reach out to people who have the ability to put us in front of people. So this is an ongoing basis. If you and I want to be involved in information marketing, we need to produce information. And the way we produce valuable information is we continue to get the people who can help us by collaborating with them with creating content. Right now. Okay, so I'm obviously skipping through a lot of places in the course. It's a dynamic list. Exactly right. It never ends. Right. You should be adjusting this list all the time. And it's a way of saying, Stephen, and everybody, that what you're saying is that you are a player in this niche. Right. You're a player. You're not going anywhere. And so you just continue to build on that niche. And one of the things I'm going to tell you about that is that one of the things I realized that in putting together this PLR course is that most of the successful information marketers who collaborate on content, they just continue to pile on the collaborative content. They just keep at it. Yes, they're selling courses and information products. Yes, they're doing their own summit. Yes, they're writing Kindle. Yeah, they're doing all that stuff. But the thing that drives the engine is they continue to produce the content. They continue to be the Oprah in their niche, right? You need to be the Oprah in your niche, right? Continue to bring people. It's collaboration. The way, and now again, Oprah was clearly talented and she kind of rose, but one of the things she rose on was by collaborating, doing interviews, bringing people in. Now, once you've got that interview done, you want to make sure it is ready for the search engines. And I want to tell you about this, that right now I realize I don't care if you're not a blogger. It's not important that you be a blogger. It is important that you have home base for all your stuff, right? You need to have a website, right? I realize, okay, no, everybody's supposed to have a fan page. Yeah, that's true. But not if you limit yourself, to just Facebook, right? You are missing a whole population of people. I could be one of them. I'm not on Facebook most of the time. So if you were trying to reach me, right, and you wanted to reach me and sell something to me, and you're only on Facebook, you'll never sell it to me, right? Because the only thing I go on Facebook to do is to check out the ads and to advertise myself, right? I'm reading ads and checking them out myself. I don't go there for information. I don't even go there for connection. And there are a lot of people who are like me. And if you limit yourself to just those people thinking, well, you know what, I did my reaching out on Facebook, I did my reaching out on LinkedIn, then you're missing some things. You need to have a website, right? You need to have a blog, and it needs to be home base where I can easily come and find out about you and find all your stuff. Right now, promote beforehand. Now, why do I say, what does that have to do with optimizing your interview for the search engine? Well, number one, what it does is it brings traffic to the link and the domain, right? It brings traffic to it. And it also gets people to share it before it happens, right? If you're having people to share your YouTube channel or a particular page where that content's going to be, it's going to help you when you actually start sharing it after the fact. Again, you are going to start to see that Google is going to start to look at this thing as an event. So promote it ahead of time. And that goes to my other point. Treat it like an event, right? Just like you would any other event. Like, I'll just name a sports event, the Olympics, right? Treat it. Listen, it should be like your Olympics. Well, you said, well, no, it's just an interview, or no, it's just a 3-person summit. That's just the thing. Right now, would you say it's just a 3-person summit if the 3 people that you had there were, I don't know, if you were doing a basketball summit, if you had Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan and I don't know, Larry Bird? I mean, yeah, only 3 people, but not just a summit. Treat it like an event, a big deal. Okay, so you should have the Super Bowl of events regardless of what you're doing inside of your niche. You need to treat it that way, right? If you had the 3, and again, if you treat this like you've got 3 powerhouse people that people should not be able to wait to see, then you're going to get more traffic than if you just say, oh, well, we've got this little thing, and if you can make it, hey, we've got this thing, it's going to be fantastic. No, you want to make this to be the most fantastic, super positive, wonderful thing people could ever do. Right now, Okay, your keywords. And again, I know I'm talking to internet marketers. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but you already know that. Your keywords need to be right. Title, okay, needs to be in your title. It needs to be in your description and your post. Needs to be in your tags. Okay, I don't need to go over that. You all the internet marketers, you know what the deal is on that. Now, in the course, I do go into explain that so that when you get the PLR course, you sell this to your customers, I will be explaining it to them. But I'm not, again, I'm just not going to take the time out to do that. And then, of course, always optimize the source content in addition to your blog. Now, why is that powerful? Well, let's say that you're going to do a YouTube video. And what you get is you get 2 chances, right, for people to see you. You share the YouTube video and you optimize it for search. And then you optimize your blog post for search. And you never know which one's going to rank, right? You just need to optimize your source content. That is where your collaborative content is, and your WordPress site or your blog. All right, now. Okay, so how do you share your collaborations? Well, okay, I go into detail about this in the course, but you want to make sure to get your guests and your tribe to share it ahead of time. You want to ask them to do the same after. And then you want to make sure to format all your video and everything, right? You want to make sure, tracking is important too. Exactly, Julie. Okay, make sure you've got it in all forms, audio, video, and text. And then share each form, audio, video, and text all over social media. Okay, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. I do go into detail about that. Okay, now reverse engineering products. Okay, so if possible, one of the things you're going to want to do is you are going to want to purchase the product some of the other players. Now, again, I've skipped through a couple of things. You want to make sure that you know what the products are before you go producing any. And let's see, we're running up against 30 minutes, so I'm going to fly through some of this. I'm going to kind of get to the end here. So creating products from collaborations, right? So what can you do? What can you do when you're creating collaborative content? Right now, your interview and summit content can be an information product. So one of the benefits of doing this on a regular basis is you can turn that into its own information product. You can create membership content with it, right? And a membership is a fantastic way to utilize the content that you're doing on a regular basis if it's high quality. It can be exclusive attendance content. So in other words, you want to make sure that, the only way that you get to hear this content is that if you come to the thing and you hear it live. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay for it. It can become book content from transcripts. Okay, $60 for 1 hour of content is your book. Okay, if you go out and you try to outsource a book, you're probably talking about $1,000 to $2,000 to have it ghostwritten. Okay, you can create an hour's worth of content, right? Typically, we're talking about 15 pages with $60. Okay, with about $100, between $100 and $200, you create your first Kindle book, right? Now, it can become audiobook content. So now, there's a little trick to this, but you can also put your audiobook content together and you can actually sell it on Amazon with your audiobook. Now, there are a couple of tricks to that. I will talk about that in the course. And lastly, of course, your collaborative content is great for case studies, for cheat sheets, and outlines. Okay, so that's really what's going to be coming out. It's going to be called Collaborative Content PLR, and it's set to come out this weekend. And really, it's going to be a new kind of PLR. Our PLR is going to now be based on tested concepts. So, how many of you all know I do a workshop here in Central PA, and that I work with internet marketers or people who are interested in internet marketers. One of the things that this is going to do for me and do for you is that I'm going to be able to test ideas before I show them to you. Right? So you're going to know that it's already been in front of somebody before you see it. Okay, so we're going to also make sure our research is in depth for our new PLR. So when you get a PLR product from us, you're going to know that we've done research on it in just more than one search, that internet research is not enough for us, that we're going to go beyond the surface. Okay, so you're going to be able to get your sales page, your graphics, and your materials, and you're going to be able to get a re-brandable video course. That's what we do. Right? You're going to have what I really like. And here's what I really like about, excuse me. Here's what I really like about what we're doing now with our PLR is you're going to be getting real life case study audios. So we're going to be talking to people, and we're going to make sure you get that too. Because again, the PLR video is fantastic, but we really like going out and talking to the experts and people who are doing what we're going to be giving it to. So when you get it, let's say that you're going to be looking to sell it, or you're going to be looking to teach it. Well, let's say you look to teach it. One of the things you're going to want to do is listen to those real life case study audios, and you're going to bring that up in your training and in your teaching. Okay, we're going to be doing a webinar training in all of our PLR. So we know now we'll probably be doing less training, right? We're going to be doing less training on outside of our products. We're going to be doing more inside of our products. So we're going to be doing rebrandable webinar training. And then our cheat sheet summaries is going to be, we're going to take some of that stuff that we're doing in the case study audience. We're going to give you some cheat sheets and all that stuff. And as far as collaborative content is concerned, it's going to be available for purchase this weekend. Okay, so if you have any questions about that, please make sure that you're watching your email. We will be talking about that for the rest of this week, or until we actually release it to you. Of course, one of the things you want to be aware of is that we still do have a Loyalty Lock Pro video course that's available with a new bonus. And so if you haven't seen that bonus, make sure you check it out over at superfastactionbonus.com/loyalty. So now, are there any questions about anything that we've covered? Any questions about anything we've covered? Any questions? And I will put that link in the box there. superfastactionbonus.com/loyalty. Any questions about anything we've covered? Okay, like I said, we're going to be covering in depth from the video course. And even if you were one of the folks who got the course that we did the giveaway for, we've expanded that course, and we're gonna be adding some stuff that we think is super cool. Right, so we're really looking forward to releasing this. It's been the first one we've done in a while, and we really do want to continue to make some of the folks that we think in terms of other product creators, we want to continue to make them available to you. However, we are going to be bringing more to you from your suggestions to our training center. Right, so a number of you all made suggestions to our training center about what you'd like to see. We're going to be covering those things in our PLR courses. Right, but for tonight, if you have not picked up Loyalty Lock Pro, we're adding some really cool bonuses that are time sensitive. You go over to superfastactionbonus.com/loyalty. Okay, any questions? Any questions on anything we covered tonight or on PLR in general? Any questions? Thank you, Julie. Any questions? They'll be inside of a members area, Dana. But I don't think we have not released this one, not the expanded version. So we'll be releasing a really not a different version, but an expanded version this weekend. Any questions? How many of you all are trying to build? How many of you all are building a brand right now? How many of you all are building a brand, or you'd like to build a brand? Right, you'd like to build a brand and create products that are going to make you money. Right? How many of you all, that's what you want to do, just haven't had time to do it? Maybe you haven't had a process to do it. Right? We're going to be talking about that. We're going to give you a process that you can follow. Okay, Jupiter Jim, let's see. Can you put that? Okay, can you write that again for me? Okay, so you're building a brand. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we that's what we're going to be talking about in this course. I'm going to give you a methodology that again, anybody can follow this, right? What I'm going to be talking about. Anybody can do what I'm going to be telling you about. And so I'm going to encourage you that you want to be on the webinar that I do. right? Because I'm going to be sharing some things that while they're going to be in the course, I can only share it with you in a webinar, right? Which we're going to start adding to all of our products going forward. I appreciate that, Jupiter Jim. Dana, that's great. And you didn't send me an invitation. I'm hurt, Dana. but I just finished telling you I'm not on Facebook. But send me an invitation anyway. All right. Wow, Julie, building 4 brands. Fantastic. Well, yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about here in this course. And so you'll be able to both use it in your own business, and then you'll be able to tell your followers and your fans here also. Okay, you haven't gotten to the invitation part. Okay, cool. Okay, everybody. Thank you, Dana. I'm glad. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Well, everybody, it's about 9:38. I appreciate y'all being here, and we are going to ship out for the night. Thank you very much, and have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.